It could be shortened based on the data. Capital Region elected officials, a lot of Democrats and Republicans are now saying, why has that not happened? Because we've been a few days behind the first wave of people. They felt that Friday of last week we could have hit phase 3. And in addition to that, they're now saying that the indoor portions of malls with certain regulations, there are blueprints that they say would be safe to reopen because so many people are employed by them. Based on the data, if you're familiar with the Capital Region data, is the general consensus, the bipartisan consensus correct that we should be further along in this area than we are?
Yeah. First, on politicians saying they review the public health data and this is what they think, here's my advice to politicians. Stay with what you're qualified to do and don't do what you're not qualified to do. I don't review the health data myself. I mean, I review it, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a public health official. I'm not an epidemiologist. I don't study infectious diseases. I don't study global pandemics. So my review of the numbers is just an amateurish review, right? I listen to the commissioner. I listen to global pandemic experts that we bring in to look at the data, and I follow their advice. So I get the politics, I get the political arguments, but this is not a political discussion. This is a public health discussion about spread of a virus. So I defer to the public health experts. And I would suggest that they do the same. I mean, everybody can have an opinion. I go to the doctor's office. They give me a diagnosis. I have my own opinion about whether or not the doctor's right. But I follow the doctor's diagnosis. I do it here. On the malls, I get their point, and we're looking at that. The big if there is if you follow the rules, right? Could you open a mall with rules that would not have gatherings in a mall? Yes, that is theoretically possible. Can you have bars and restaurants serve alcohol where people pick it up and don't congregate? Yes, that is theoretically possible. There is a big variance between what is theoretically possible and what can actually happen in reality. Well, we'll have the rules and we'll enforce the rules. Yeah, I understand that, but that's also theoretical. Don't worry, we'll enforce it, right?
The area officials, though, are saying that they're listening to, in a similar way to what you do with Dr. Zucker, their Department of Health Commissioner, so they don't really have independent thoughts. They're saying this is only based on the data, and I say bipartisan because there aren't really politics involved there. It's really just about getting people back to work.
Yeah. But there's politics involved in everything. When you're dealing with elected officials, you're dealing with politics, right? That's the business they are in. And I get that. But we have the best public health experts, I think, available globally who we rely on here. I spent a lot of time talking to people literally all around the world, people who worked in China, people who worked with Italy, people who worked with South Korea, and we've introduced some of them to you. And we just follow the best medical, scientific advice that we can get. I agree with elected officials who say, I want to reopen as soon as possible. I want to reopen as soon as possible. And we are reopening as soon as possible. Possible as determined by the data. And also, the proof is in the pudding. Look at our progress. Look at how we're doing on reopening. We are exactly where we said we would be on the phases. The data is good. Our rate of transmission is the lowest in the United States, having been the highest. Right? At one point, you can't argue with the results. That was my point earlier. Well, this one thinks this one thinks this one says this one says that. Yeah, I know. Now we know, because we're in the laboratory. And we saw what happened. And you have the numbers, and you can study it. And we were right to do it by the numbers. And we're still doing it by the numbers, as reviewed and determined by the leading international public health experts. And that's what we'll continue to do. I would like it to open faster than they would like it to open, because we have this as a statewide consequence. Our budget gets worse every day that we don't open. So no one is more aggressive than I am, but I'm not foolish either, right? It's aggressive, but not foolish. Let's take one more.
Minority Leader Flanagan announced that he's resigning effective June 28th. Have you spoken with him, and what are your thoughts on that?
I wish him well. I did a lot of work with him. He was Senate leader, and we did a lot of work, a lot of budgets together, passed a lot of good laws. I wish him well. I understand he's going to open a new chapter in life, and I wish him well. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.